Chapter 5 Frozen and Fire.
The automaton digital intelligences are all copied human minds, with one exception. One was made accidentally by two digital intelligences. We do not know if this was by Pondla's design or not.
Joel, Jonathan, Brash.
The aquatic animal was bigger than Lave and almost bigger than the hole in the ice. The miscalculation was evident. A humphead wrasse's diet is known to eat other fish and even some toxic marine animals like sea hares and boxfishes. It wasn't coming for the bait, it was coming for the fish eating the bait. Lave targeted the gills and began the bloody business. The trident was pulled under as the fish tore itself apart. Lave wanted to yawn after holding his breath, wanted to warm his hands rather than fight the fish on the rope, and wanted excuses. I'm sorry. Reasons that were going to be the cause of his failure to capture a fish at least twice as big as himself. Honor dictated and demanded otherwise. He felt his movement burn his toes as he pulled on the rope. The rope gave slack and then took it. Lave's arms were pulled under the relaxing warmth equal to tropical waters. He tried righting himself, knowing it could take hours for the massive beast to tire itself out fighting for its life. Lave didn't have to let this water freeze him. Then it happened. The dining room table-sized fish attacked Lave and the rope. The fish bit down on where elf hands had been moments before. The fish's momentum carried it out of the water. Lave used his natural-born abilities and jumped like a grasshopper out of the way of aquatic-born teeth. Lave flipped midair in order to grip his trident lodged within the creature's gills and unknown at the time the bone of its inner mouth. Lave heaved the behemoth to slide across the ice, denying its only avenue of escape. Lave Grass Elf jumped again to the rope and jump again. He had to secure the distance to ensure no chance of losing his catch. Allowing suffocation to kill his prey was Lave's way of using patience as his weapon. The scenario was already unthinkable in size. Then the third unthinkable event happened. The humphead wrasse shadowed over Lave and slammed on top of him. Trident in the air wobbling as the scales catch and dig into Lave's clothing. The ancient humphead wrasse had to be more sentient than Lave anticipated. The fish slammed again, as the ice cracked, as did the bamboo that served as Lave's bones. The frozen floor of the lake bleeds through warm water to touch Lave's back. The monster intended to hammer through the ice in order to return to its hunting grounds, using Lave as its wedge. The elf was up to his knees in water below, cracked ice behind and half a ton of fish before him. The creature slammed its tail against the ice and broke through the solid water. Gravity and friction began pulling both of them into the dark waters. Lave pulled out his belted blade and stabbed into the mega fish's chest as Lave descended into his perceived liquid grave. The deadpan words of
Ah, hell.
Almost pronounced underwater. Personally, I would have stabbed the ice to keep out of the water. I mean, a dying fish isn't worth dying over to make sure it dies. Showing evolution how stupid you are isn't a reward I want for greedy honor. My apologies, I digress. Back to the narration of the fish tale. The rope reeled wildly into the red water and popped taut, swaying side to side, trashing until it stopped. Then a steady rhythmic vibration pounded on the rope. The heartbeat on the lifeline turned into a green hand touching air again, followed by the rest of the grass elf. Lave only had moments before the temperature of the water on and in him changed. With some fingers broken, he began lifting the fish out of the water with maximized leg muscle effort. Lave's body was numb and would get more numb or just turn to pain soon. He had to pull out the fish now. So he did, and then fell to his elbows hard. His knife still in the mega humphead wrasse's heart. He began to crawl, then stagger back to the fire. Lave started to feel the splinters of the broken bamboo rib bones and the cellular death of his fingers and toes. Pink milky fluid leaked like opium from his wounds. Blood coagulation and painkiller all in one. That is if the water didn't prevent the clotting process. Using the rope as a guide back to the tree and the low fire, dizziness warned him of an impending blackout. Lave hugged as much fire fuel as possible and dumped it upon the fledgling fire. His only hope was to lie next to the old-fashioned outdoor heater. 2 minutes later, Lave lay unconscious before a roaring fire as the sun crested the lip of the sleeping volcano.